And we are live. What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny. This will be episode 63. And today I want to talk about how emotionalism is destroying politics. Now, I recently went through the comment section on my previous videos about Kamala Harris, about my thoughts about this big debate that's being sparked between the black community. And some people had some words to say about me. One, they like to categorize all my arguments as mega talking points, but my biggest critique is sure, you can say that, but you still have to argue the merits of my talking points, right? Just because they're talking points or you think they're talking points doesn't mean that they don't have any validity in reality. And this is the problem I also noticed in politics is that people are out here trying to prove that you're biased or that you're nefarious, but all I really care about is the substance, the solutions, the approach. Like, what am I actually arguing for, and does my argument have any merits? I think that's what I'm really focusing on. But a lot of people are focusing on superficial stuff just to um, not having to contend with the ideas that's being presented in a video. That's one thing I noticed a lot on my videos about Kamala Harris. And that's all they really have, honestly. Because when I do criticize her policy, her abilities, they have nothing really of substance to say back. All they have to say is, you got mega talking points. That's disingenuous. You're just trying to label my whole argument, and you got to be specific. You can't just say all my arguments are mega talking points and you don't even specify one. One? Not one? But you want to generalize my whole stance, my whole argument, because you don't have one. That's what I noticed for most people. But enough about my ranting. So a lot of things happened today, but for one, I want to start off this video with my favorite guy, Thomas Sowell. And I think one of the reasons why I want to focus on this idea of emotionalism is that I notice a lot in our mainstream media. They use fear, they use doubt, they use a very emotionally based arguments to try to cajole people into a certain pathway, right? Oh, he's going to cut Medicare. Oh, he's going to ban abortion. All this fear mongering. And they do it with climate change specifically. All this catastrophizing of events. Oh my God, it's going to be the worst thing since sliced bread if you let this guy get in office. And I think one of the things that really drives home for me to stay empirical, right? Because I'm not voting for a personality. I'm voting for a set of policies. Shout out to Scotland Scorpion. Welcome back. Welcome on the live stream. Glad you can catch it. The problem with emotional based thinking is they focus so much on the personality. Because I have a commenter that came in and said, "Oh, so you want us to vote for a convicted felon?" And I'm like, "No, I want you to vote for Agenda 47." Right? And you're gonna find out how much emotionalism is really driving our politics when I start really going in on Kamala Harris once again. But first, I want to start off my live stream with this wise words of wisdom from my favorite guy, my favorite author, Thomas Sowell. So let's take a quick look, and then I'll give you some of the follow-ups after this.
You make this vigorous attack in the vision of the anointed that we should no longer listen to these people. That's sort of the debate. They've been wrong. They don't prove their points. It's hurt us. Who should we listen to?
We should listen first and foremost to our own experience. You seem to act as if there must be alternative saviors. We should stop looking for saviors. I mean, the society has not existed for thousands of years because it had a succession of saviors. It's existed because it has institutions and processes through which people can realize their own goals.
No, I understand that, but you are attacking people who would like to lead us and tell us how the world works.
No, they don't want to tell us how the world works. They want to take over the decision for us. They don't tell the parents how they ought to teach sex education to their children. They put this material in the schools behind the backs of the parents with instructions not to let the parents see it.
Okay, but
Exactly, because end of the day, many people on the left and many people who want to control your lives, right? The school system, like imagine how old this interview was. At least the 80s, because you see that man, he had that black afro. And this goes to my point about emotionalism destroying politics. I want to focus on this X post by Zuby. How does it affect you personally? This is the end of empirical thinking. And I think this is the biggest argument that I have about our emotion-based politics is that people say, "Oh, how does it affect you personally that a woman gets an abortion? How does it affect you personally if people are teaching transgenderism to their kids, if they're teaching gender ideology to their children?" because it's in my society. And if it's in my society, it's going to be a part of my culture. And this eventually is going to reach into someone in my family. And not to have a cultural pushback against this stuff, it's almost a way of conquering a country. Right now, if you see it in the Olympics, there's a lot of satanistic themes that's going on right now in the Olympics in Paris. I can't even watch the Olympics because I'm so weirded out by what the hell they're putting out there. Anyone who's from France, I don't know if this is how your guys get down, but the Olympics has not been enjoyable to even watch. I haven't even watched a single minute of it. I just seen clips online, and I'm seeing the celebrations they having, the drag people I'm like, yo, what are you trying to do? They're trying to push cultural values onto your children. This is why they banned the Bible out of public schools. This is my biggest argument. That in reality, the reason why they banned the Bible is because in reality, liberals, progressives, specifically Marxists, they want to push their ideology like a religion in schools. And the Bible got in the way of that. That's why they banned the Bible. And in my ideal circumstance, we shouldn't be pushing any ideology in schools. I don't want feminism pushed in schools. If you want to ban religion, you got to ban ideology too. Because they know the socialists always tell you where they're going. He who controls the children controls the future. This is why they want to put all these ideas into your kids, because your kids are less armed to defend or push back or resist these ideas that they're putting in their head. This is why I say, from the long-term perspective, education is the most important aspect in the long-term goal, but I digress. I want to continue hitting on this emotionalism. So we're going back to my favorite person. I've been talking about her for the past couple of weeks. Kamala. So recently, Kamala got endorsed by the Obamas. Let's take a quick peek here. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but let's take a quick peek of her endorsement, receiving her endorsement from the Obamas.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Now, let me ask you something. Do anyone knows who Kamala's policy, like what's her agenda, her party platform? Does anyone know what that is? I'm just asking. A questioning mind wants to know. Does anyone know what that is? No? I hate these stupid stage calls. Exactly. Hey, some people say it was recorded, so it probably was. He was acting. I don't know. I'm not going to look into that. But my main point here is a lot of the attacks that we've been doing on Kamala, especially me, it's been me bringing up things she done in her past, right? Because I recently just found out, right, that if you go on Kamala's webpage, you heard it here first, right? When people say, oh, why are you voting for Trump? The number one talking point you can hit them with is, well, at least he has a platform he's running on, because Kamala has no platform to run on. Shout out to this ex-post. Hey, I love my guy, JV. Someone said they couldn't find Kamala's policies or agenda, so I did a quick Google search to her official webpage. No policies, no agenda, just a merchandise store, a volunteer sign-up form, and a donation tab. Why are people supporting and pledging their vote for her? Her blackness? Why are you supporting Kamala Harris, Kamala supporters? Y'all want to come at me in my comment section about me saying I'm voting for Trump 2024. But your person here, yo, oh my God, she's qualified. Where her policies at? Where's her agenda at? My guy at least got an agenda. Agenda 47. Go look it up. It ain't Project 2025 like you try to make it out to be. And this is why I think the liberals, they come back and say, oh my God, the Republicans are just attacking her on her race and gender. Because most of y'all only supporting Kamala Harris because of her race and gender. You bigot sexist? Like, come on. Y'all can't even name me a policy y'all support from Kamala Harris. She supports abortion. That's all I hear. Vote for Melania 2024. Terry Lewis is funny. You voted for the first lady, right? And then they're trying to put this stupid, I'm going to be nice. They're trying to put this dumb narrative that Kamala, oh my God, Trump is scared of Kamala. I don't know if this is the video I'm actually looking for, but let's play it.
So many of you have been asking me about the debate, and I'll tell you, I'm ready to debate Donald Trump. I have agreed to the previously agreed upon September 10th debate. He agreed to that previously. Now it appears he's backpedaling, but I'm ready. And I think the voters deserve to see the split screen that exists in this race on a debate stage. And so I'm ready. Let's go.
Will you do it on Fox News?
So you heard the guy ask her at the end, will you do it on Fox News? No, she won't. Because she got no policy. Google, you think I'm lying? Go on her webpage right now. All she says is, give me your money, and volunteer for me. That's it. That's all Kamala Harris' website says. Buy my merchandise, donate to me, volunteer for me, and then that's it. Go on Trump's website. You're going to find all that and his agenda. Agenda 47, not Project 2025, like the Democrats keep trying to push out this narrative to scare black people into voting for them. This is why another reason emotionalism is destroying politics. You ripping them up in the frenzy. And let's think about this rationally, right? We all are critical thinkers here. I don't care if you agree with me, disagree with me, impartial, neutral, centrist. I don't give a damn where you stand. All I want is rational people to listen to what I have to say, right? If you wasn't emotional, right? If Donald Trump made an agreement with Joseph Biden, right? You expect that the terms will be met as long as both parties are still in negotiations or in contract, correct? Correct. Okay. So if one guy pulls out, Joe Biden, wouldn't that nullify the grounds of the contract? I mean, we just being common sense people, right? I mean, it doesn't take a scientist to dissect that, right? Right? But you got Democrats out here saying, have you ever heard a president back out of a presidential debate after he already agreed to the terms? Yeah, his name is Joe Biden. Pete Buttigieg. Craziness. I saw that on Twitter and I was pissed. I was like, yo, what's wrong with these people? The mainstream media, I don't know if you noticed, guys, if you look at my past week. Oh, thanks for watching the videos, by the way. I appreciate you guys liking it, sharing it, watching the videos. I really appreciate it. I've been talking about Kamala a hell of a lot today, this week, because the media keeps pushing this lady in my face and trying to tell me she's a good candidate when I already know. I saw enough in 2020. She didn't get a single vote in 2020. I'm supposed to sit here and believe that she got all this black support. Liberals are criticizing Trump for wanting to set his own debate terms, but never ask Kamala why she can't debate Trump in unfriendly territory. Why does Trump always have to perform on their terms while Democrats aren't held to the same standards? Facts. Facts. Come on, bro. Yo, make it make sense to me. I made an agreement with somebody, right? Hey, I'm going to buy your car for $5,000. Boy, pull out. Okay. And then someone comes in and say, hey, I heard you was going to do this for $5,000. Let me buy it for $5,000. No. For you, it's $8,000. Oh, my God. You're trying to scam me. No, the agreement was between me and him. I was going to sell it to him for $5,000. You're a different person. Therefore, you have to negotiate. Like Kamala Harris literally sitting here thinking she can piggyback off of Biden for everything. First, she piggybacked Biden. The only reason she's in this race right now is because she was Biden's vice president. Piggyback. You got a piggyback campaign. You got piggyback donations, right? Because she gets to take off from his funds. Now you want to piggyback off his debate terms? Kamala. I thought you was a strong, independent woman. Negotiate your own terms. Crazy. Dr. Butttooth. You're fun. That's a funny name. I just wish people would do research before they vote. That's all. I mean, this is how emotionalism is destroying politics, right? You got women. I just did a video. News coverage parroting of the news media is parroting DNC talking points. Women are out here saying, I know it's superficial, but she looks like a cool auntie. I will vote for her. Yeah. I want a first woman president. Yeah. That sound rational to you? Same policies that got us to this point is the same policies that we're going to get continuously. And Kamala Harris might just be a communist. I remember Kamala in 2020 Primaries got totally like 900 votes. Yeah, 900 votes. She fell upwards. See, we have to keep, like, this is the annoying part. She has no agenda. She has no policies that she has on her platform. So how is she having such strong support without people knowing what she's actually about? We're going to go based on her past record. The liberal media hasn't even talked about her policies, what she's going to do. The only policy position I hear from Kamala is abortion. That's the only thing I hear out of her mouth. And then she got criticism. Then she got criticism from Trump. She's running on this. I'm a prosecutor, and I dealt with people like Trump, convicted felons, and playing into that narrative. Only emotional people can fall for that. I'm a prosecutor, and Trump is scared to debate me. And then the liberals in the comment section goes, of course he's scared to debate you. He's a felon and you're a prosecutor. Felons tend to be scared of prosecutors. Playing all this like emotional dumb crap. Like, this is what our politics has become. It feels like a theater. I feel like I'm in a movie. I'm watching a movie. Bro, I'm dead ass. I feel like I'm watching a movie. No policy. No policy. But black people who support Kamala Harris have the gall to go in my comment section calling me, oh yeah, you're a mega cultist. Oh, man, get out of here. All you're doing is repeating and regurgitating mega talking points, but it doesn't tell me. And then I reply to them. I say, hey, be specific. You're trying to generalize my entire point. You're trying to label my entire argument so you don't have to debate the merits of my argument. Lazy people, disingenuous people. Because you can't tell me why you support Kamala Harris other than she's a black-looking woman. Emotionalism. Emotional ass people. This is how y'all destroy politics. And then you wonder why the smartest and brightest people don't go into politics. If I go into politics, I'll lose. This is one of the reasons why, and I know a lot of you guys probably know who Thomas Sowell is. This is one of the reasons why Thomas Sowell never ran for office. Because he said, people don't like to hear the truth. People don't like to hear the realities of the policies they love so much. Hey, minimum wage is not a good policy. Every time minimum wage is implemented, people lose their job. Cost of living goes higher. Goods and services become more expensive. And if you price control, right? Because that's what the socialists say. Okay, we'll just force corporations not to raise their prices. Those businesses will get out, like they'll go out of business. They'll bankrupt themselves. You'll bankrupt the business, forcing them not to increase their prices to adjust for the fact that their labor costs is increased. Cause and effect. That's why I open up with Thomas Sowell. People have to understand there's no saviors. We are our own saviors. These people, Kamala and Trump, are merely representations of the approach, agenda, and solutions that we want going forward. And this was my problem with black people too. They think that like I worship Trump or something. Like, if you're new to this channel, I was a Vivek supporter. Like, I was team Vivek. I wanted Vivek. Vivek was my first choice. Trump was my second choice. And my third choice was Ron DeSantis. That's the order I went in. I was not, oh, if Trump wins, I'm not voting for, I'm not those people. I'm like, yo, Vivek gives me 100, not 100%, 60% of what I want. Trump gives me 50% of what I want. DeSantis gives me about 45% of what I want. That's how I see politics. But you got these emotional people who are fighting me. Oh, you're going to vote for a convicted felon? That's an emotional argument. I don't give a damn, right? Because y'all finished voting for Joe Biden, who was a figurehead president, and you got what you got. You got the results for what you got. But now they repackaged the same old ish, and now you're excited to vote for it? Only emotional people can do that. Has anyone looked into the campaign finances? They confronted one old white lady and asked if she made $800. Yo, the Act Blue stuff is funny as heck. I'm going to get to that. I might touch on that if I have time. But I want you guys to get an idea. Because I think this 1 minute and 51 second video is the closest thing to getting an agenda that you're going to get from Kamala Harris. Let's take a quick look.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution.
Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place.
Bruh, y'all tell it. Bruh, I don't believe this narrative that y'all think that Trump is scared. Like these Harris supporters think that Trump is scared of her, bruh. Come on, bruh. Come on. She act like Whitney Houston in her crack years, bruh. y'all tripping on the comment section. Bro, emotional thinkers, right? Look, sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of people, but this is why rationalism, empirical evidence, it needs to come back in politics, bro. Okay, I don't care if you don't like Trump. I don't care if you think Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, which she kind of is, because if she wasn't let's go with their framing of events. If she wasn't a black woman, you think she'll be VP right now? Everyone's answer is no. She would not be VP right now if she wasn't a black woman. Right? And she talks in circles. Perfect. Exactly. She said all the sweet sound. Oh, not everyone starts off at the same place. Welcome to since the beginning of human history. Some humans are born with black skin. Some humans were born with light skin. Some humans were born with blue eyes. Some humans was born with brown eyes. Like, wow. Like, yeah, water's wet. The point is, equal opportunity is the most practical and tangible things where everyone, hey, look, one's going to be taller than the other. One's going to have more ability than the other. One's going to be smarter than the other. And based on those differences, we all will have different outcomes. Hell, people born in the same family have disproportionate outcomes. Did you know, fun stat, Thomas Sowell, shout out to Thomas Sowell. This is why I love Thomas Sowell. Did you know based on your birth order, you're more likely to be successful than later? So if you're the firstborn or only child, they're disproportionately represented as the most successful people in the world. Only child and firstborns. I'm in good company. I'm the firstborn in my family. Craziness. You born in the same family. You came from the two same parents. You raised in the same culture. And the fact that you were born first makes you disproportionately likely to be successful compared to your other siblings. So it goes only child, firstborn, then secondborn. And as you go later and later, is less and less likely you're representative as a successful person. Majority of doctors, majority of them were firstborn, secondborn, and only children. They make up like the bulk, like 80% of doctors. Imagine that. Imagine that. But you want equal outcome. How? How? When people in the same environment, like this is why empirical thinking needs to come back. Empirical thinking says, hey, if people born in the same circumstances, they have the same similar DNA, because no two humans are alike, even if they're siblings. You come from the same culture, same social environment, right? Same conditioning, right? And you still have disproportional outcomes. You still have different outcomes. And you think you can make all of society equal? The only way you can do that is make everyone poor. Kamala just came out as a communist. But people will vote for her because she's a black woman. Emotional thinking. That's what it sells. But Kenny, she a strong black woman. Bruh. Very true, but there's outliers like Michael Jordan, yes. But the point, the exception proves the rule. I'm just making the argument about, hey, equal outcomes is impractical. It's impossible to achieve. It sounds nice. Hey, we can make everyone rich. But rich is relative. If the average income in society was $1 million, the level of rich will increase. Rich will be billionaires. Rich will be trillionaires. Rich is always relative to society. If everyone's making $10,000, rich will be $100,000. If everyone's making $100,000, rich will be $10 million. It's relative. So the only way you can make everyone have the same outcome is you make everybody poor. That's the only way. Everyone's poor, destitute, can do nothing. That's the only way you can make equal outcomes. Because if you allow everyone's ceilings higher, you could dribble, pass, and shoot. But if you 5'9", you ain't gonna be as good as a basketball player with someone with the same skills, but he's 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". And it's just baffling to me that like emotional people will hear that and say, yes, oh my God, yes. It's unfair that we all don't have the same outcomes. But okay, let's play this game. Because one thing about emotional people, they always look at how much people are victimized by circumstances. But when people achieve something, they want to use achievement as a way of demonizing somebody instead of using them as inspiration. When I see Michael Jordan become the best basketball player ever, that's supposed to inspire us. But from the left perspective, they'll use Michael Jordan's success. No one should be making that kind of money because they're playing a basketball. They'll demonize his success. That's how the left do things. That's what they do to Trump. Oh, he's a billionaire. He could subvert the law. My argument is, hey, you want his money, you want his outcomes, but are you doing the same things he's doing? Are you doing the same decision making he did? Did you put in the same kind of work he did? Do you have the same abilities as he does? No. Then why you expect the same kind of outcomes as him? That's something they never ask themselves that. Right? This is the same argument I make with the Asians. Hey, Asians do good in school. Black people don't do good in school. I look at stats. Hey, look, Asians spend on average an hour, like 2 hours, almost 2 hours more on homework compared to other races of people. Is it any surprise they do so well in school? No. But I bet you if I did the same study on black people and how much time they spend playing sports, I'm going to find the same disparity. Hey, black people spend about 2 hours more in sporting activities than other races of people. Is it any surprise there's 78% of them make up the population of the NBA? So you want equal outcomes, but you don't want equal effort. Someone's going to put more effort into getting billions of dollars, but you want wealth redistribution. This is why a lot of these things are not moral, they're not consistent, and they're not fair. Because the left loves to push how they're about fairness. Crazy to me. Let's face it, equity is female thinking. Hey, yep. I mean, there's, bro, don't call me a sexist for this, but there's a study that showed that if you give women $100, like you split money, they all will split it equally amongst each other. If you give men money to disperse, it usually goes to someone who contribute more. So men naturally are more capitalistic while women are more socialist communists. Men are more competitive. Competition brings quality, right? Because if the best person wins, the best person is going to have most of the money. While in communism, you're not incentivized to reach your top potential. And this is the problem in our politics. This is the problem with emotional thinking. People rather be comfortable, right? And comfort, you don't get your best being comfortable. You see Kamala. Kamala is the perfect representation of emotional processes, emotional thinking. It's, oh, we never have a woman president before, so let's give her a chance. It's this my turn, your turn thing. Like, moms like to do. Oh, he's playing with it. The dad's going to go, that's his toy though. Nah, if he don't want to share his toy, he ain't sharing his toy. The mom's going to go, but he should share. Everyone's going to have a turn. It reminds me of that TikTok I saw somewhere where it was a girl's birthday, a little girl's birthday. And the mom and the kid, the birthday girl's brothers were crying the fact that they didn't get to blow the candle. So the mom let her blow the candle, and then she goes on and starts flicking the candle so all the kids in the room can go blow off the candle. And I was sitting there like a father, like, yo, that's her birthday. No one should be blowing candles but her. That's how I was thinking it. And that it goes back to these emotional, oh, we don't want anyone to feel excluded. But the reality is, it's not your day. When it's your day, all the attention is going to be about you, but it's not your turn. And then we wonder why a lot of these kids grow up to be entitled, selfish, only thinking about themselves. because you never taught them how to be selfless. Hey, it ain't your turn. You never hurt their ego, because a part of parenting is hurting your kid's ego. Yo, you're not the center of the universe. And a lot of these emotional people think they're the center of the universe. When something benefits them, they want it. Well, when something doesn't benefit them, they don't want it. Emotional people. Oh, I like the fact that men open doors for me, men pay for drinks, men do all this stuff. I get in for free in the clubs. And then let's say what's a famous talking point that red pillars like to say? Men don't like women that sleeps around. Oh my god, that's unfair. How come men get to sleep all around? But if we sleep around, we're scum of the earth. But you didn't hear all the benefits you get for being a woman? But this one thing you value that you think is inconvenient to you. Trade-offs. Trade-offs. Everyone got their advantages and everyone has their disadvantages. But I think I went on a little rant there, right? And I want to talk about this guy. His name is Royce White. I think he's running for Senate. And yes, he's running as a senator for Minnesota. And he had a good expose that I wanted to read here, because it kind of encapsulate culturally what I kind of have to deal with as being part of the black community, right? Redefine American politics and sort through this cesspool of lies and manipulation. This is another problem with emotional politics. Is with emotionalism, it's easy to manipulate people into believing things that are necessarily not true because they're perceived to be a problem, right? It's possible something can happen, and through that possibility, they manipulate you with fear. While a rational person will say, hey, how feasible is this thing actually likely to happen? Right? Fear is what they say. You fearing fear is something your imagination of things that has not happened. That's what fear is, and this is how emotional people get manipulated into voting for someone else, voting against their own best interest in light. Exactly. Even in pro sports, there are better than the best and one who's better than all. Nothing will ever be equal unless everyone doesn't give a ish and just do whatever the weakest link does. You hold down all of society with equality. In the thought process of the America's black communities, you could be a sheep and let them keep telling you how important you are. Emotionalism, right? The Democrats have this in spades. They stay pandering to black people. I got hot sauce in my purse. Telling them how racism is holding you back, social justice is holding you back. Police brutality. Who killed more black people? Black people. 76% of crime victims are black on black. But the media don't report on that. They want to just confirm the bias that a lot of black people have. Black people have been surveyed and they believe that racism is still a major issue in America. Even though if you look at the facts, if you look at the evidence, the likelihood of that being true is low. The likelihood is something else is causing your disparities in your wealth. For instance, I'm going on a tangent here, but hey, F it. Racial disparities, one example is the wealth gap, right? Black people always complain about the wealth gap with white people. And I always ask this question. I'll say, okay, if I remove race, what other ways can I explain the wealth gap between the black community and the white community? Hey, the white community has a higher average age than the black community. I think the average age for the black community is like 30 years old. The average age in the white community is 55 years old. Now, if I ask you an assumption, hey, who makes more money? An older American or a younger American? Disproportionately, older Americans make more money than younger Americans. Boom. I just explained the wealth gap between the white community and the black community without using race. So how can you say it's racism? You can't. But the Democrats, they'll lie to you, emotionalism, and tell you it's racism. That's why the system's holding you back. Systematic racism is keeping you down. Right? But I just explained, in Georgia, a black man just got shot and killed, and he owned a business. Black on black crime be killing wealthy, rich black men, and then you wonder why you got a wealth gap. Because some of y'all can't live long enough to build enough assets to make a dent in the statistics. Yet you want to blame systematic racism. When most of these people who are doing something for themselves, business owners, rich, rappers, their lives are getting ended by another poor black man. Make that make sense. But Black Lives Matter. Okay. You can be a sheep and then and let them keep telling you how important you are, or you could become something by understanding how the system works and then who is behind it. The Democrats want to expand government so eventually you, citizens, shrink from existence completely. The Republicans want to shrink the government. The MAGA movement will shrink the government, right? He makes a distinction between MAGA and the establishment Republicans. All you white black folks talk about the man and how guilty the system is, but we can vote for a party that makes it bigger every time they get a chance. Make it make sense. Yo, facts. You want to complain. Like, these are the same emotionalism, I'm telling you. These people will vote for a party just because the party kissed their butt about racial narratives, panders to them, gives them special treatment. And black people stay complaining about the systematic racism. Oh, the powers that be, they try to make the boogeyman out of the government, but they vote for a party that makes the government bigger every time they get. Emotionalism. Emotionalism. That's the only way you can explain it. Black people complain about systematic racism, institutional racism. Give me another one, guys. White privilege, white power structures. But you're going to vote for a party that is majority white, Democrats, to put them into power, all because they have a black looking woman who's VP. Make it make sense. Emotionalism. A rational mind will be like, hey, if I'm complaining about a system, why would I vote for a party that wants to make the system even more powerful, even more, give the system even more authority? That's why I joke around and say, hey, welfare is like slavery. Oh, you better do what we say. Oh, look, the Republicans, they're going to take away welfare. They're going to defund welfare. You better vote for us. Don't be dumb. This video is still the signal from the noise. We want you and we want you and we want you to be free from tyrannical government and economic imperialism. They want you to be a serf, dependent on the government. Isn't that what welfare does? Begging for acceptance. Ain't that what black liberals do? Because I'm not begging for acceptance. You can hate me. You can not like my opinions. You can argue with me. You can call me a raccoon, coon, Sambo. What other names they got for me? What else? What other names they got for me? You not like us. Kinfolk ain't skinfolk ain't kinfolk. You can do all this ish. But my ass ain't begging for nobody's acceptance. Black, white, Asian, indifferent, European, non-European, Mexican. I don't care. I'm not begging for people's acceptance. I'm just like, yo, look, this is my argument. Debate it. Oh, you think you got a better one? Give it. I'm not here trying to get people to like me. And that's the difference between, I think, a black conservative and a black liberal. A black conservative, bro, you gotta darn near not care about nothing. Because the first talking point these black people like to say is, only white people will agree with you. And I say, yo, you don't act like Asians don't exist. You act like Hispanics don't exist. Like Hispanic ain't 40% of the, ain't like Hispanics don't vote 40% for the Republican Party. But only white people agree with you. Okay. Like I'm not from Miami. Okay. Terrorizing your own community by who? Your own people. Okay. Instead of exercising your 2A constitutional rights. Imagine that. Black people live in communities that's crime ridden, and they're the people less likely to be armed with a gun. Imagine that. The referendum is obvious. Let the white liberals play. Use the black woman to usher in communism. Ain't that what Kamala Harris is? We all agree communism is bad, right? What I showed you in the clip was Kamala Harris essentially endorsing communism. We all don't start off in the same place. We all don't start off in the same place, but we must end up in the same place, right? She talks in circles, right? That's us black people have a chance to save this country with it ourselves. The people are coming. Godspeed. And that's one thing I try to put into black people's minds is the fact that what's good for this, we benefit from this country. Like, this is the best place to be black. This is where the wealthiest black people live. If you're an American, if you're a black American, you're part of the top 1% of black people in the world. If you let this country get destroyed because you want to put in a black looking woman into office and she continues running up inflation by forgiving student loan debt, which contributes to inflation, do universal health care, which going to give us, which we're going to get a lower quality health care. All the best doctors are going to run out of the USA so fast your head will spin. We have to look at the outcomes of these policies, bro. Black people have been voting Democrat for 60 plus years. Only way you could do that is through emotionalism. Black Democrat men crying over the fact that Kamala Harris, she could make history. The first woman president is going to be a black woman. Black Democratic men putting on shirts, follow black women. Nah, I ain't following this mess. I'm sorry. Nope. What have Democrats done for you lately? The last Democrat y'all voted for, black community, because y'all take what? How much? Can someone tell me the percentage of black people that voted for Joe Biden? I think it was like 88%. So Joe Biden is 88% black community's fault. Sorry. 88% of the black community could be blamed for voting in Biden. We got Biden. What happened? Highest inflation rate in 40 years, 2021, 2022, around there, right? They had to redefine recession so no one freaks out because I feel like we're in a recession, right? Cost of living is up 20% since 2020? Imagine that. Your life is harder or easier since Biden came into office. And now y'all about to repeat the same mistake again. For Biden, this is how emotionalism ruined politics. For Biden, it was we're voting against a guy because they trumped up all this fear. Oh, we want to return to normal or return to normal. Emotionalism. The threat of violence, the stores were boarding up because everyone was scared that if Trump wins, there was going to be a riot. Fear, right? Instead of thinking logically, yo, we can't reward this kind of behavior. And look at them. They're doing it again. You criticize Kamala. You're a racist sexist. Hey, Kamala's page, you don't got no policy or agenda. You're a racist sexist. How dare you try to point that out? Hey, Kamala kind of slept her way to, you're a racist sexist, oh my God. But Trump, they talk about Trump's sexual history all the time. But God forbid you give them the equality they're looking for. Now they mad. They hear rewriting history. Oh, she wasn't in charge of the border. You called her the border czar. No, he didn't. Go back 3 years later, rewrite the article. Bruh, I'm having too much fun with this, bruh. So I want to talk about like policy stuff, right? Because we all know Kamala likes the open border stuff, right? She don't want to enforce the border. She believes that people shouldn't be charged with shouldn't be labeled a criminal because they happen to break into our sovereign country, right? So I want to talk about the border. And remember, it's about emotionalism and how they use emotional appeals to try to make you back down from something that is logical and rational, right? We all feel sorry for a homeless guy when we see him on the street, but we all know there's a limit to how much we can help other people at the expense of ourselves. And this is what the Democrats want us to do as a country. We can't afford all these migrants that's coming in here. They're on welfare. They're on our government programs, right? A large percentage of illegal immigrants are on social programs, on our government programs, barely contribute to anything in our government programs, but they're taking the most out of it. We're a socialist country when it comes to an illegal immigrant. They come here, they get cars, they could go and buy food. They're living in 5-star hotels, depending on where they go in New York. Chicago, they're pushing out black people in their black neighborhoods out of their rec centers to house them. Yo, we're like a socialist country for these illegal immigrants. That's why majority of Americans want them out. That's the logical choice. Hey, yo, we can't sustain all these people coming in here, especially we don't know their history, where they came from. And now we got rape is up like what, 11% in New York, I hear. Because you bring in these people, you don't know where they're from. They're undocumented. You don't know nothing about them. Then you hear Venezuela's crime rate is low. They're sending they're emptying out their jails over here. And instead of arguing my talking point, at least directly attacking my argument, people who support Kamala Harris, black liberals, black Democrats will say, you're spewing mega talking points. Like they're proving me wrong or something. You didn't call me a liar. You didn't say I was wrong. But you saying mega talking points. Like the mega talking points don't have any merits. Tell me how it's a good thing letting 20, almost 15 million people go over our border. Majority of them are going to be on our government benefit, our government social programs. They didn't contribute a single tax dollar into it, but they're benefiting off our programs. So we're paying 100% of the cost and they get all the benefits at zero cost. That sounds like a bad deal. That sounds like a burden on us. Why not send them back to their country? And they broke the law to get here. What kind of incentive? What kind of how you say it? Not incentive, not incentive. I lost the word. But what kind of model are you setting here? You're rewarding people breaking a government law, and you rewarding them with welfare, housing, food. Oh, more people gonna come over the border then. Oh, they didn't kick you out? Oh, I'm coming now. I'm coming. Another caravan gonna come in, inviting more people to come over your border. The amount of people that came across the border is the entire population of Vermont. Imagine that. And there's other states that have similar population numbers to Vermont. That means there's enough illegal immigrants that cross over the border within Biden's administration alone that could take over an entire state in the United States of America. And you don't think that's a problem, liberal? Emotional, but they're hungry. They're fleeing oppression. They're fleeing political prosecution. Yeah, he probably a criminal running from the law in his country, and he's coming to crossing over the border here. That's political prosecution right there. You'll take him in too. Asylum isn't a human right. I'm sorry. Asylum's a privilege. If someone wants to, just like inviting somebody into the house, if someone wants to invite you in their house, that's a privilege. But you don't have no right to come into someone's house. But I digress. I'm going to give my voice a break. Charlie Kirk's going to talk about why open borders is bad, and you're going to hear the emotionalism that comes out of these people talking, out of these students' mouths. And this is the funny part. This is why the Democrats pry on the young vote, because it's a naive vote. And the most emotional people are naive people. I digress. That's not an insult. It's just reality.
I mean, just the whole environment with this and the cameras and everything, to me, is like not conducive to healthy conversation. I think it's inherently threatening to a lot of people.
I'm sitting behind the table with my
You're
arms
not physically threatening me. I don't think I mean...
But then if you're emotionally threatened, who cares?
That's my point. You're emotionally threatened by all of this. So
feelings mean nothing in the world. No one cares about how you feel except yourself and maybe your mother.
Isn't that logical? Isn't that rational? That's how politics is supposed to be. No one gives a damn how you feel. We've got to do things that's in our best interest as a country. It's not in our best interest as a country to allow 15 million people to cross our border illegally with no punishment, and then reward them with our money, with our tax dollars, to clothe them, feed them, shelter them, protect them. And then as we're doing this, they're victimizing our citizens as well, increasing rape. What? In New York? Logically, you can't defend that. Imagine I bring a rapist into my house. My wife will look at me stupid. She's like, yo, what are you bringing this guy in here for? That's what we're doing at the border. And I'll be a bad husband if I did that. Just like Kamala Harris is a bad overseer of the border, Joe Biden, in extension, allowing this, not putting any pressure to get this stuff done until his political power came into threat. That's when he wanted to do something about the border. And then the solutions that he pushed, the bipartisan solutions, only slow down the problem. Instead of letting 5 rapists come through the border, we're going to let like 2 rapists come through the border. And I'm not saying all illegal immigrants are rapists. I'm just saying that there's been a string of stories. June alone, I think there was like 4 separate events of where a young girl got killed, raped, sexually assaulted, people getting hurt, come on. We're bringing these people in. It's one thing if your kid do something in your house, but you'll be more angry if a stranger do something in your house. And that's the dynamic we're dealing with. And sometimes you got to bring it down to local, you have to localize these big problems, because one thing I notice about emotional people, they're all for something as long as they're far away from the problem. Oh, I think rich people should donate all their money. But then when they're rich, they don't donate all their money. Oh, I think people should take in starving and helpless children. But when they're in the position to, they don't want to take in starving, helpless children. It's the same thing what happened in Martha's Vineyard. Oh, we're a sanctuary city. Martha's Vineyard is like this wealthy, heavily Democratic area. Ron DeSantis said, oh, word? Here's some migrants. Here's some illegal immigrants. Oh, no. We're not equipped to handle them. Ship them back. it's easy to be open borders when the open borders doesn't directly affect you. And the smartest thing that the GOP ever did was start calling their bluff. Okay, you want to be a sanctuary city? Help us out here. Here you go, Chicago. Here you go, New York. Here you go, Boston. Help us out over here. We're overwhelmed over here. Too many people crossing the border. We can't sustain this. Help us out. Now these Democratic voters that were far away from the problem, easy to wag their fingers and criticize. Oh, you Texas, you guys are so xenophobic. Y'all don't want to accept those people in your country, in your state. Now they got to feel the effects. Now they're feeling it. Now they're mad. Now they're seeing the problems that Texas is seeing. And this is the problem with emotional people. Until it personally affects them, that they don't think critically about the problem. That's why I started off this live stream with the Zuby quote. How does it personally affect you? And that's the problem with emotional people. They don't worry about something until it personally affects them. But I digress. Let's continue with the video.
Okay.
Feelings are irrelevant.
Well, you're here sharing your feelings with everybody.
No, I'm sharing my logic, my facts and thoughts. I haven't told you once how I feel. There's a difference. Feelings and facts are two different biochemical systems in how the mind and the body operates. Feelings are based on emotion, rising blood levels, blood pressure, so on and so forth. Facts and logic are over long periods of time through reflection and through using math, science, and analysis of data.
Disagree.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not telling anyone how I feel, I'm telling people how I think. It's a big difference.
Okay.
Hey, I got a question.
Sure.
Well, actually, no, just to say.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice to see you. Yes.
I see you're big. You have your own like photo and everything like that. So I just want to comment on the hat and the shirt.
Sure.
Everyone's entitled to their opinions. I completely respect that. Live your life, but like, you know, a lot of immigrants do come here undocumented, and my family and I being one of them, and we contribute to the economy. You know, I'm a graduate student with 3.75 GPA.
See, none of that matters. 3.57 GPA. He's trying to say that he and his family came over the border illegally. They contribute to society. They're going to school. They're doing that. Sounds like you're taking advantage of a lot of our resources that you're not supposed to do in the first place, right? It's like someone say, hey, I break into your house. Hey, look, Kenny, I broke into your house, but look, I'm working. I'm contributing to the house. I'm buying toilet paper. I'm buying groceries. I got a job. I'm going to school. I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't give a damn because you increased my costs by just being in my house. $8 coffee in his hand. Like, I'm like, yo, you broke into my house and I'm glad you're doing stuff for yourself, but you're an uninvited guest. You imposed on us. Oh, take us in. Look, I'm with a child. You broke the law to come here. And I know it sounds effed up. Oh, Kenny, man, that sounds very logical and cold, but I think that's how politics got to be. Our politicians have to think this way. Citizens can afford to be like, "Oh man, it sucks that happened to you," but that's the law here. Politicians have to be like, "No, this is in America's best interest. You're not in America's best interest. You're looking at America like an opportunity zone. Oh, this is an economic zone. How patriotic are you? Probably not. You probably have more allegiance to your original country than you do here in America. And if we allow these people to vote, you know they're going to vote more socialism in naturally. That's one thing I notice with a lot of illegal immigrants. Like, you know, my wife's Hispanic. You know, I'm gonna pull that card every time I can, right? And we know some people. Like I know personally from my wife's family. Maybe I'm already oversharing, but they came, you know, they came all across the border, right? You know, Biden's border. You know, they came in. You know, they did their stuff. They told me about the process, and I told them. I told my wife's relative that was an illegal immigrant. I told him straight up. I'm like, look, man, I know you crossed the border. You got caught, and then they released you back into the States. Exactly what happened to him. So technically, he's not illegal. They got him. They caught him, but they treat our ICE. They treat the immigration control enforcement like a bellman at a hotel. Oh yeah, there goes the guy. He's supposed to book us in. That's how they treat them now. So I told him, hey, you know Biden's doing all this so you can feel obligated to vote for him and you help him with his own political power. And he was like, yeah, I know, but I'm just using him too as a convenience. I said, oh, okay. That's how they see our country. They just like, oh, like I can come here and make money, right? But you know, they don't want to speak our language. They don't want to absorb our culture, right? They don't want to assimilate. They just want to take advantage. They come here to take advantage. And as long as you let people take advantage of you, they'll continue to take advantage of you. And this is one of the reasons why people want Trump. This is why I want Trump. Hell, some immigrants, some illegal immigrants agree with Trump. He said, yeah, I can see it from his perspective. You're a nationalist. You got to look out for the interests of your country. But as long as the country allow me to come over here, I'm going to come over here. An illegal immigrant will tell you that. So we need more politicians that are tough, who are strong. You think emotional Kamala would be able to make a tough call like that? She was already in charge of seeing the border already. She was trying to get to the root cause of immigration. I just told her the root cause of immigration. They see it as an economic opportunity to cross over the border because they see all the free stuff you give them. They see the housing you give them. They see that you don't get any consequences for them breaking the border. Boom. I didn't even work a single day in office, and I already explained to you the root cause of immigration. It's baffling to me. It's not rocket science. It's not. But they pretend it is because they're trying to confuse you. Let's continue with the video.
Yeah, very smart guy. Immigration isn't perfect in a lot of ways. I think instead of focusing on increasing border, I think it's definitely important to just focus on lubricating the immigration process to be fair, impartial, and quick.
I would agree with some of that, but jumping the border is not immigration.
Yeah, well, what do you think about the kids that didn't have a choice?
Their parents should be deported.
And the kids?
I think maybe given a second chance.
Really?
Yeah.
The immigration reform bill talked about that. The left
Trump actually would have allowed the Dreamers to stay, and the Democrats opposed it. And why do I wear an ICE hat? Because the number one population ICE goes after are child sex traffickers. They've arrested 14.
And that's one thing they don't talk about the border either, right? If I want to make an emotional argument, an emotional appeal, hey, you giving people reign to traffic children over the border, right? You turning a blind eye is you're allowing sex traffickers to bring these kids over the border. And then when we separate them, you want to project this as, oh my God, they're separating mother and child. I'm against any politician that will separate a mother from her child. When your mom commits a crime and she commits a heinous crime and she has to go to jail, don't you separate her from her child too? So for American kids, when their parents break the law and they got to go to jail, no one's crying about, oh my God, you're separating the American mother from her child. But an illegal immigrant jumped the border, breaks the law, and we separate her from her child. Oh no, she's the biggest victim. Make it make sense to me. Only an emotional person can square this. Now, for my final, I think 20, maybe 10 minutes, I have one of my favorite speakers. I think is Vince Everett Ellison. He has a speech called "The End of Tolerance," and tolerance has been used to emotionally blackmail Americans for I don't know how many decades. Liberals love to, you got to be tolerant. You got to be tolerant. You got to be tolerant of the gays. You got to be tolerant of LGBTQ. And then we're tolerant. Like, okay, we'll let you get married. Okay, we'll accept that you love who you love, right? Now it's like, we want to teach your kids this stuff now. And we go, no. And now they're trying to use the same line again. And eventually, it's like the boy who cried wolf. It's the gay that cried tolerance. You're going to cry tolerance one too many times, and everyone's going to be like, nah, we're done. The lines has been drawn. I think Gen Z, I might be wrong with my statistic here, but I think Gen Z is the first generation to buck the trend of being more accepting of LGBTQ lifestyle compared to the previous generation. I think Gen Z is more likely to be uncomfortable with LGBTQ because LGBTQ it went from equality to I want special treatment. I want social dominance. You see, all you gotta do is look at the Olympics in Paris. They're pushing this stuff in your face. They say, you will accept this. We will teach your kids here. You think you're going to sit here and watch LeBron James dunk a basketball for the USA? No, you're not. You're going to sit here and watch LGBTQ stuff, LGBTQ imaging. It felt like a big Nas X concert. I haven't watched a single minute of the Olympics, and I love watching the Olympics. But I'm like, nah, I'm not watching this crap, especially with my 1-year-old son and my 3-year-old son. I'm good. Ridiculousness. But hey, this is how emotionalism gets used and abused by duplicitous, disingenuous people. They tug at your heartstrings. Oh, we just want to be accepted. We just want to be treated equally. You want to be treated equally, but where's the straight month? Where's straight pride month at? But you got your own, an entire month dedicated to your sexuality. But straight people don't have that. But you want equality? Sound like you want special treatment. But I digress. Let's get into it. The end of tolerance.
We have been sapped of conviction, drained of our beliefs, and we are bereft of our faith. That's Billy Graham. And Billy Graham wrote this 25 years ago. He saw it coming. They use words like tolerance. They use words like pride. And our Bible tells us that God hates pride. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. So since God hates it, it would make sense that the left would use it for a whole month, right?
And one thing too, even if you don't believe the religious angle that he's taking it from, just look at it from a practical perspective. What they always say, what's this famous saying? Everyone heard this saying, the pride goeth before the fall. And LGBTQ, y'all gonna learn it the hard way. Y'all proud, oh, we pushing it. The most quietest LGBTQ month was this year. We barely hear a peep out of the corporate media and all this stuff because they know the backlash that was coming. The pride cometh before the fall. You prideful now until you're not prideful no more. So it's a warning. It's a parable. It's been repeated in history. You get too cocky, you overstep your bound, and then you get a backlash. And that's what's happening with the Rainbow Mafia right now. I digress. Let's get back into the video because I talked a lot already.
Bunch of weirdos and ne'er-do-wells walking around twerking in leather and thongs. They're crazy, man. I've gotten tired of trying to placate and play with these people. I'm going to call them exactly what they are. They're a pack of perverts, liars, psychopaths, and anti-Christian bigots.
And this is also a point I always pointed out in my previous videos too, is that the left has become very anti-religious. And how come we haven't called them bigots is always baffling to me. I say they have such disdain for Christians or people who believe in faith, right? They like to mock you. They like to mock your symbols of religion. Like, imagine someone was mocking Jewish religion, right? I forgot what it's called. The Hebrewism, Judaism. No Jewish person will stand for that. But time after time, Christians have allowed the left to make mockery of their religious symbols, like what the gay people with the rainbow, liberal artists, liberal atheist artists making an art piece called Piss Jesus. A dude drew Jesus using piss in his materials. Like, these kind of things are like a slight against you, right? But imagine if, let's say, a Christian painter wrote anti-LGBTQ painting. The left will go haywire. They'll go crazy over it. But they constantly do this to religious people all the time. And I don't stand for inconsistency. If you want to push tolerance, you must be tolerant yourself. You can't tell the other side, hey, you got to be tolerant of what I do to you. But the minute they give me the energy that I'm giving back, all of a sudden, oh no, you got to be tolerant. You got to be accepting. You can't be a bigot. But you're allowed to be a bigot in Christians' face all the time. This is the unequal standard, right? We don't want transgenderism to be taught to our children in elementary school. LGBTQ people get mad and say, oh my God, you're trying to erase our existence. But you banned the Bible out of the school. Couldn't Christians say the same argument? And this is my problem with the left. They're not consistent at all. And when someone's not consistent, it already puts an alarm clock in my head that, oh, you're a disingenuous person. You're a duplicitous person. You want tolerance when it benefits you, but you're the least tolerant person when it doesn't. And as a conservative, I believe in two-way street. How you treat me is how I'm going to treat you. Oh, you have disdain for what I believe in? You have disdain for who I am because of what I believe or who I am? Black people do this a lot. They want to characterize black conservatives. They want to make fun of the black conservatives. But black liberals themselves are a minority. And if white people and other people started doing the same thing to them, they'll be crying racism, foul. They'll cry themselves to sleep. Oh my God, they're disparaging against me. They're discriminating against me. Byron Donalds, he wanted to be in part of the Black Caucus, and they rejected him because why? He's a Black Republican. Tell me how you feel without telling me how you feel. Imagine that. Oh, all Black people are supposed to be accepted in this. I'm Black. Oh no, you're not. You're not the kind of Black person we want in the Black Caucus. This is the tolerant left, huh? Craziness. This is the discrimination that Black conservatives always have to face. But you don't hear Black conservatives calling racism from their own people. Imagine that. The Democratic Party says, oh, you ain't Black if you're not a Democrat. That's essentially what they told Byron Donalds when they rejected his an admission for the Black Caucus. Oh, we don't want to associate with you. 100% Democrat, like they're representative of the Black community. The Black community isn't 100% Democrat. So why is the Black Caucus in Congress 100% Black Democrat? Make it make sense. But this is the tolerant left. They want conservatives to be tolerant of them, and the left want to be intolerant of conservatives, their ideas, what they believe, what they stand for. Tolerance isn't submission. You can think you're a woman, you can think you're Superman, but I don't have to believe that. Hey, you're a man. I'm a woman. Can't you? Isn't it obvious? No, you're a man. You're a man dressing up as a woman. And you shouldn't be able to fire me. You shouldn't be able to cancel me. You shouldn't be offended. You should be like, oh, well, that's what he thinks. He's entitled to his own opinion. I'm entitled to my own opinion. I think I'm a woman. He thinks I'm a man. We go our separate ways. But for them, they redefine tolerance as, no, you have to submit to my ideology. If I think I'm a man, if I think I'm a woman, you must placate to my self-perception of myself, even if it goes against what you believe. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's not tolerance. That's submission. And this is the emotional blackmail these people are trying to use. But I think it's losing ground, especially in 2024. Republicans weren't comfortable attacking a DEI person. Now they are. They're like, yo, look at this DEI hire. Look at the DEI president. Now liberals mad. Racist, sexist attacks. She's not a DEI hire. You think she'll be vice president right now if she wasn't a Black woman? Same qualifications, make her a white woman. She's not Biden's VP. We'll have a whole different candidate right now. But she's not a DEI hire. Okay.
Talking about tolerance. I'm going to show you my tolerance in a little while. No, we can't tolerate it any longer. I'm done with it. Look at what we're tolerating now. At one time, the nation tolerated slavery. We actually tolerated putting people on auction blocks and selling them. We actually tolerated slave masters raping women and selling their children on the auction block to the highest bidder. And then finally, somebody by the name of Abraham Lincoln stood and said, I'm not tolerating this any longer. Putting a stop to it. We tolerated the disenfranchisement of women, wouldn't allow them to vote. And finally, a group of women stood up and said, we're not tolerating this any longer. We're going to put a stop to it. Now look at what we tolerate. Sex trafficking across the border. Fentanyl in our system. Drag queens going in school, shaking their behinds in the children's faces.
We tolerating all this all because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Right? And I would look, nothing ever gets done with your feelings. It don't matter how you feel about something. Is it right? Is it wrong? Like, this is the problem with our current culture today. And I think this is how emotionalism has destroyed politics. Is that emotionalism values self-esteem over self-control. Self-control will tell you, hey, look, these people are not comfortable you doing this stuff to their children. You must respect their boundaries. An emotional person will be like, damn their boundaries. I feel like I want to express myself, and it shouldn't matter if they're children or adults. I should be allowed to do whatever I want. And that's the thoughts of a child. That's how emotional people think. And now these emotionalism is bleeding into politics where people think, oh no, the government's job is to make my life easier, to do everything for me. But they don't realize how much control over their personal life they're giving up. Oh my God, I can't afford healthcare. Why healthcare couldn't be free? Government comes in, oh, we can make healthcare free for you. All you got to do is vote for Kamala Harris. Oh, okay. Not realizing, hey, do you know what cost you're giving up by having free healthcare? You no longer have control over your healthcare anymore. If you're on the death's door, and let's say you have a baby and you want to keep your baby alive, and the government's like, look, we already wasted enough money on this baby. Baby don't got a chance to live. We're gonna pull it off the life support against your wishes, regardless if you want it or not, because you're not paying for it. Whoever's responsible for healthcare controls healthcare for free. If you get something for free, usually you don't have control over it, and it's at that person's discretion whether they continue giving to you or not. But hey, you don't care because you don't have to pay for healthcare. Oh, I'm covered now. I don't have to worry about paying for healthcare. You just spread the burden to all of society, and you bring society down. Emotionalism. Emotionalism breeds selfishness, entitlement, indulgence, complacency, laziness. Look at our culture. People are scared to strive for stuff anymore. Any minor setback, and people seem to crumble under the weight. Oh, I can't do anything. Oh my God. Student loan forgiveness. We need student loan forgiveness. Like someone put a gun to your head to take out student loans. Who told you to go take the degree? You did all that. You were responsible for going to college. You were responsible for pulling the debt. You were responsible for picking a degree that wasn't able to help you pay back the loans that you took out to get that degree. And instead of owning up to that and say, hey, look, I made bad decisions. Now I have to rectify my mistake with my own efforts, with my own abilities. No, cry to the government to forgive my student loans. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Only an emotional person will do that. Emotional people go for the path of least resistance. They go for the laziest, most convenient option possible. Logical and moral people understand yo, I made these decisions. It should not be someone else's responsibility to resolve these issues. I created these issues. I have to resolve it. Right? Because they only want freedom when it's up to them, when they want to be freedom to do something, but they don't like the repercussions. You can't demand autonomy without responsibility. If you want to be able to do whatever you want, you must accept that whatever reactions or outcomes you get from doing whatever you want, you have to suffer a consequence for that. But emotional people seem to want their way. They want their cake and eat it too. I want to be able to do whatever I want, but I don't want to be held accountable for all the outcomes that my actions create. I don't want to deal with any of the ramifications of my freedom. You want to live like a child. And even children, they don't get to do whatever they want because they're oversight by what? The parents. And in this day and age, emotionalism has taken over our politics to the point where we have grown adults who want the government to act like their parents. That's in reality. Oh, I want free healthcare. So you don't want to manage your healthcare anymore? You want the government to manage your healthcare? And last time we checked, everything the government seems to manage seems to get worse. Department of Education is my best example. Before the Department of Education, America was number 1 in education. After the Department of Education, aka, hey, government, I don't want to manage my kids' curriculum. I don't want to keep checking in with my local school board to check my kids' curriculum. I want you to do it, government. Government does it, we become 28th in the world in education after the Department of Education got installed into the federal government and they began managing the curriculum for public schools. Now you want that same government that delivered a crappier education to our children, you want them to be in charge of our healthcare system. Kamala Harris. Yes, Kamala Harris. Emotionalism. Because you only focus on the short term, but you don't look long term. Second order thinking. You voted for Kamala off of a reaction. Oh my God, first black woman. And then the long-term ramification of your actions, once you experience it, you go, damn, we made a mistake. And then they're going to come back with another package, another diversity person. Oh, look, first gay man to run for president. You got to vote for him. You don't see the game yet? First, Biden came in, emotionalism. You hate Trump. Vote for Biden if you hate Trump. Now, 2024, emotionalism. You're a sexist bigot if you don't vote for Kamala Harris. Oh, and Trump's still Hitler. This is you can't emotionally manipulate someone who's smart and rational, being like, yo, look, Kamala Harris ain't doing anything differently than Joe Biden. Hell, she's an even worse candidate. She wanted open. She don't believe that people breaking border law should be criminalized for it. She believed that these people are entitled to welfare, social programs at the same level as American citizens, even though American citizens are the ones that pay, and people who are legal in this country who pay into that system, but the illegals didn't pay nothing, not a single penny into the system, but they get the same level of benefits as an American citizen and a legal immigrant. Make that make sense. But emotionalism, that's the only way you can mask all these illogical, unfair stuff. How is that right? How is that a good deal? Like, how is that working in America's best interest that they're covering 100% of the cost of these welfare government programs that was supposed to be used for their citizenry, and now people who break into the country are on this system and benefiting from these systems? Make that make sense. That's what we're tolerating, because in the name of emotionalism, in the name of virtue signaling, in the name of, oh, look how good we are, we're taking care of poor people around the world. But the logical conclusion is there's more poor people in the world than this entire country. Billions of poor people are born per year. We can't take in, we migrate on average, we used to anyway, 1 million people on average into the country legally. If we open up our borders and we take all the world in, we'll get overrun. Let's say the whole population of Africa came into the United States. United States is destroyed instantly. Because what makes America America is the culture, is the belief systems that we have, is the mindset that we have. And if you bring in 1 billion people from a mindset of a failing country, failing culture, and they overtake this culture, they'll destroy our country the same way their country is destroyed. Logic. It's logical sense. This is why you filter people out and make sure, okay, hey, is this person going to be good for our country? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, we're keeping them, give them time to assimilate, then we let them vote in our system. Logical. Emotional people say, oh, they live here, they're a resident here, they should vote just like everyone else. But they didn't put the time in. They're not naturally born here. Birthright citizenship. They weren't raised the same way. They don't see the world the same way we do. They see the world differently. And you're migrating another worldview into the country, and you wonder why we got multiculturalism going on. Multiculturalism essentially is destroying this country. Emotional people say that every culture is equal. No, they're not. Some cultures are better than others. All you have to do is look at the outcome. If Africa was so good for black people, why black people ain't moving from the United States into Africa? Because America is still the best place for them to be here. They can talk all they want about how bad America is, how broken the system is, but they'd rather be here than in Africa. A majority black country, a majority black continent with majority black countries on the continent. They got all kind of options to move to Africa, but they'd rather stay there, but right here, talking ish about America. This is why I can't stand some of these pro-blacks who are anti-American. I say, you're one of the wealthiest black people here just because of the fact you were born here, and you want to demonize this country, talk ish about this country. But I told you, hey, go revoke your citizenship and go to Africa, go to the continent of Africa and find you a country that you want to live there. You will say no. Because it's comfortable being over here. It's easy to talk ish about America when you're in America. But live in Africa, see how they live. And all this fake racism that you complain about, you'll see something worse over there in Africa. Because you ain't seen real poverty. You think the poverty you grew up here in America is poverty? That's nothing. Remember, if you're a black American, you're the richest people, you're the richest black people in the world. You haven't experienced true poverty. I visited Haiti. I seen true poverty. The poverty like in the hood, in the ghetto, is a lot better. Those kids in Haiti, they'll rather have your life than the other way around. But you want to pretend you're so poor. Oh my God, I'm so disadvantaged, because you're looking at it relatively. Emotionalism. Emotionalism will lead you to destroy your own country because the left compares America to perfection when no country is perfect. Every country has its trade-offs. That's logic. Emotion says you can have it all. Lie. But I digress. I'll let this video play out for 2 more minutes, and then I'll wrap up with my final thoughts.
To take God out of the library, put porn in. Take the Bible out, bring the drag queens in. And we tolerate it. What I'm here to tell you today I'm standing here in front of you, and I hope you join me when I tell you my tolerance is come to an end. Saw a story the other day in the news that broke my heart. These people coming over the border, many of them illegally. And you guys know the stories, but I saw a story that was just horrible. They caught this young girl. I think she might have turned herself in. And when they checked her, of course, they checked them for, drugs and things like that. And they found a bag in her pocket. And they thought they were drugs, of course. So they looked at the bag, and they came to the conclusion they were not actually drugs. And they asked her, what were these? The young lady said that these are morning after pills. I bought them on the journey because I knew I was going to be raped several times on this journey, and I didn't want to get pregnant. And when you hear that, it just breaks your heart.
Now, imagine, let's have a rational mind here and say, hey, I don't want that to happen again. Let's say you have a law like, hey, any illegal that come to this country, we'll deport your butt, keep you in the database, right? We'll take a picture of you, whatever, deport your ass, right? And revoke if they try to apply legally, we'll ban them from 10 years. And if we catch them in the border again, we'll revoke their ability to send a legal application to migrate here legally, like forever. Like you keep extending the thing every time you catch them, and you keep deporting them back, right? And if they knew, hey, you come in the country, and then let's say they made their way past the border, you make it as hard as possible for them to actually sustain themselves in the country to the point where they'll turn themselves in. They're like, oh, I'm starving, I'm dying. Oh, you're illegal. Time to go back home. People would not make that journey in the first place. You'll discourage people from even making an attempt there because they'll know, hey, it's futile. There's no point in trying. You can't work there unless you're either a legal migrant or you're an American citizen. Close all these loopholes, and you kill the incentive for people to even make it to the border. Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome. If you have all these loopholes for these people to work, for all these people to begin on welfare, they'll continue to travel around the border. Especially if they know you're just going to release them back into the country. People talk. These people talk. The migrants talk. They're not as poor as you think. They come in with cell phones, iPhones. They got all the gadgets. They just see coming to America as an economic opportunity. And we have to protect that as a nation. That's one way you can stop all this stuff. You can. It's not going to stop it completely, but you can minimize a lot more of the problem if you just close all the loopholes in our immigration system. But it's not been happening. Why? Because emotional people are running the country. Democrats are not being emotional about this. They're being logical about this. They're being political about this because they know these migrants, these illegal immigrants, when they come over here, they disproportionately support the Democratic Party. They're disproportionately in favor of the Democratic Party. And also, if they got family members in this country, they know the family members will vote on behalf of their family that came here illegally. And kids born here from illegal parents, right? They become American citizens. They'll vote because they'll see voting Democrat as, oh, I'm protecting my family. And this is how you get all this friction in America where you got American citizens voting against the best interests of America because their allegiance are with their family, which as it should be. But this is the kind of games that the Democrats are playing. And then these illegal immigrants are in these blue states, increasing their census numbers, their population numbers, and they get more power in the electoral college because they have a bigger population than the rest of us. There's a reason why the Constitution had slaves as 3/5 of a person, because if you counted a slave as a full person, you would have gave disproportional power to slave states, and slave states would have been able to constitutionalize or codify slavery in America. So the founding fathers saw this and said, no. We don't want to count slaves as full people because then we'll give too much power to slave states. And slave states will be able to run the whole electoral college. The Democrat Party is doing that with the illegal immigrants. Oh, let's have all these illegal immigrants. They'll be counted to our census. This is why California has disproportional power over our politics, because they got the biggest population in the union. And how much of that is due to the fact that they have illegal immigrants counted as part of their census? This is why Democrats cry, scream when Republicans say, hey, the census will only count American citizens because these are the people that can vote. It makes sense. Hey, the electoral college should be based on American citizens, not based on total population. Democrats scream, no. Why? Because they benefit from illegal immigrants being in the country. But this is how they mask all this stuff with emotionalism. They call you a bigot. They call you a sexist. They call you a racist. They call you names to get an emotional reaction out of you to discourage you from pushing back on them, from doing things that's actually in the best interest of yourself and your country. And this is how emotionalism destroys politics. Because politics doesn't become about solutions. It becomes about, let's virtue signal. Which politician can look the best, look good. How bad can you cast the other guy in a negative light? Nothing about substance, nothing about policy. Hell, there's a presidential candidate right now called Kamala Harris who's getting, 43% support because she's a black woman. And then people will say, oh, she's not a DEI hire. Okay, what policies is Kamala Harris running on? You go to our website right now, you can't find a policy. But Trump got an agenda. Trump got a policy. But you telling me a presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, doesn't have a policy? Yeah, she wants to debate. She wants to do all this stuff. She's throwing out ads. Like, how can you have a debate without having a policy position, a policy platform? Make that make sense to me. How someone can support Kamala Harris when she doesn't even have policy? They don't even know what she's running on. What your 2024 campaign is about, Kamala Harris? I'm a black woman. You can vote for the first black woman. You can prove if you're white. This is how she talks to white women. You can prove you're not a racist by voting for me. This is why this is the real reason people are supporting Kamala Harris. You can't say you're supporting Kamala Harris based on policy, because I'll say, show me Kamala Harris's policy. You go to our website, you can't find one. But I'm supposed to believe you're fluff. Only an emotional person can vote for a presidential candidate, a politician, without knowing what exactly that politician is going to do for them in this year. Make it make sense to me. You can't. This is how emotionalism destroys politics. I think I'm done. As usual, I'll leave all the videos that I reviewed in the link in the description. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Appreciate all you guys commenting, chatting with me throughout the video. I really do appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on your way out. And I'll catch you guys next week on the next Live with Kenny. Peace.